Lord, forgive me, for I have sinned. I've bought in gold stocks too early. I've bought in lithium stocks too late. And I didn't buy nearly enough Bitcoin. I pray for a never-ending bull market, $10,000 gold, and explorers that always hit on the first hole. Give me the strength to work hard, do my own due diligence, and please don't let the mining promoters steal all my money. Amen. My name's Jamie Keech. I'm a mining engineer and natural resource investor. The mining industry has brought me to some of the most interesting places in the world, from coal mines in Mongolia, gold projects in Brazil and Peru, to building iron ore mines north of the Arctic Circle. Today I travel the world looking for the best investment opportunities that I can find. I get my hands dirty, my boots on the ground, and leave no stone unturned. This is the Resource Insider. The artistry here is truly mind-blowing. If you just think of the scale, I've been trying to think of how much it would cost to replicate something like this today, and I don't even know if it would be possible if you could find the artists to build something like this now. It must cost tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, and to think this has been here since the 1700s, and so much of it was probably funded by silver mining in the area. It's my first day in Guerrero. I'm here to understand what makes Heliostar tick. But first, I need a good breakfast and to have a conversation with Heliostar's community relations manager to better understand what it's like to work in one of the most notorious areas of Mexico.
We're in a very important place here in Guerrero. Its name is Taxco. It's one of the most important cities in Mexico where the mining was developed. It was in the early 1018s. It's when the Spanish started developing this area as a mining town.
How has life, work, everything changed at Ana Paula since Heliostar came in and bought the project?
Well, it's much better, definitely. Unfortunately, the first company couldn't develop as they wished the project there in Ana Paula. So we were in about 3 years care and maintenance. So as soon as Heliostar came to the project, everything has been moving real fast in a very good way.
You know, in the past, there have been issues with, gangs, narcotics, security challenges in Guerrero. You know, when I came down for this site visit, I had several people ask me, oh, is it safe? Are you gonna be okay down there? Is this something that's on your radar? Is this something I should be worried about? Is this something you guys are worried about?
No, not really. Definitely, I think that, most of the time we can see in the news the bad things of what's going on in all over the areas. But I've been here in Guerrero for many years, and I could say that we don't really have that kind of issue. I have never been in an insecure situation, or I have never feel that I could be in risk working here in Guerrero. Like I said, I'm from Jalisco, and I feel like Guerrero is like my second home.
Taxco is a beautiful town with an incredible history of silver mining. But I'm not here for the past, I'm here for the future. And right now, I want to learn exactly what we're going to see on this Ana Paula site visit.
So we're here in Guerrero today, and on this site visit in general, I really want to take viewers on the path of what Ana Paula is and what it is doing for Heliostar today.
So when we bought Ana Paula, it was permitted for an open pit. It was this big sea of low grade, as we talked about, with this not a huge focus, but this high grade zone in the middle at the time. We had a view that we were prepared to make unpopular technical decisions. We would back ourselves on something. And so we had this project that was permitted for an open pit, had the pre-feasibility study for the open pit, had the 100 million spent on it down that pathway. We wouldn't have bought it for the open pit. We didn't think that made the most economic sense. And there's a knock on the deposit that some of the gold is harder to recover. And so it costs more or takes more risk to get that out. And so at low grades, that becomes a very risky perspective. So we said that doesn't work. But what a VP of projects, Sam Anderson, saw was this high-grade panel. And it hadn't been well drilled off and it hadn't really been the big focus. But we're like, we can, much lower upfront capital, mine much higher grades, accept that lower recovery through a normal conventional mill and processing circuit and still make a lot of money. So I think we bought Ana Paula initially because we saw something that other people didn't see, and then we had to deliver that change.
And so you're kind of saying, forget about all that low-grade material, go in straight to the source via decline, right? Go underground and just focus on getting that high-grade panel.
Correct. And so the high-grade panel wasn't well, like they'd had holes in it and they got good results, but I don't think it was truly well understood in terms of what it was. And to jump to the end, we added 300,000 ounces with 3,000 meters of drilling. So by definition, it wasn't well understood. And how that came about was all the geology dips like this as we saw. And so all the drill holes were like this, which makes sense. You want a perpendicular intersection to the zones. But what they didn't truly realize is the high-grade panel goes like this. So they were either heroes or zeros.
Tomorrow we're heading to site. What specifically are we going to see down there?
I think first of all, you're going to be surprised how much you enjoy being in Guerrero and around Quetzala. It's a lovely place with lovely people. And then you're going to see a project that's ready, a project that's in a great spot to build a new mine that's surrounded by large gold mines. I think you're going to see the work that we've done and to de-risk the project, to show that the underground pathway works, and to show the steps that we're on in that feasibility to demonstrate potentially a high margin gold project.
I like gold mines as much as the next guy, but listening to mining CEOs talk is thirsty work. It's time for a quick detour to the land of cheese and mezcal.
So where are we right now?
Well, here we are with the family Miranda, especially with Mr. Fidel Miranda. We're in Apetlanca, Guerrero. Apetlanca, Guerrero is known like the land of the cheese and the mezcal. And we are here with the family that started developing the mezcal here in this area that is called Apetlanca.
And what's the difference between mezcal and tequila?
Well, it's almost the same, we can say it, but the rule says that a specific kind of agave should be grow in some area. For example, the denominación de origen, it's called for the tequila because it's from Jalisco.
Okay, so it's jurisdictional. It's like champagne, kind of.
Yes, yeah. It's a kind of that. Because we can find very different kind of mezcal. Some of them are about the 4 to 6 years. And some other one like the Cupetra, that is an agave that is original from Guerrero.
Yeah.
It takes, ¿cuánto toma el Cupetra?
De 15 a 22 años.
From 15 to 22 years to get to its 100%, so you can produce mezcal from the Cupetra. And the Cupetra is a mezcal, the plant of the mezcal that its origins are from Guerrero.
So what makes a great mezcal?
At the end of the day, it will be the care that you take to the plant.
And is it true that a good mezcal doesn't give you a hangover?
Yeah, that's true. Something very important is to have it with kind of food, with cheese from Apetlanca, also like the pig that we are eating.
All right. Well, I guess we're gonna find out tomorrow then if that's true.
Mañana se comentará.
And this is it, the final product, authentic Guerrero mezcal. You saw it straight from the source, through the distillery, into my hand. All right, that was great. What are we gonna do with all this tequila or mezcal?
Drink it.
No.
Now it's time to get to work. I'm an engineer, and before I make any investment decision, I want to see data. And to do that, I need to get to the heart of an exploration project, and that is always the core shack.
We are in Heliostar's core shack, which, unsurprisingly, is where Heliostar keeps the core. So when you hear about a mining project drilling holes or getting drill results, the end result of that is pulling these tubes of rock out of the ground that are called core. Core is the most important data set for any mining or exploration company. It's how geologists, engineers get insight into what's actually going on under the ground, what a deposit looks like, so they can design future exploration programs and eventually a mine. So probably unusual for an exploration geologist to start with this much core. I mean, you had a lot of the early work done for you guys. You've got this massive core library. How did you guys approach this when you first bought Ana Paula and inherited all this work?
This was a new discovery only about 15 years ago. It means we've got all the drill core ever drilled into the deposit, which is an amazing resource for going back to audit. I think there's sort of 5 key stages in a mine. There's the discovery geology phase, the engineering studies phase, the building phase, the operating phase, and then the shutdown and rehabilitation phase. This is one of the best resources for the first phase, which we're doing here at Ana Paula. For investors, a simple way to treat geology if you don't know it is you need to look for 3 things. You need to look for a source. Is there gold? Is there a metal being concentrated somewhere? Is there a pathway for it to get somewhere? And is there a trap? Is there a unique setting? And so if you hear your geologist think, have they found a source of the metal? Do they understand how it gets into place? And is there something to form that deposition? That's the science of finding ore bodies.
So what are we looking at here? I haven't seen this color coding before. What does that represent?
I think this is one of the coolest parts of Ana Paula. So what we've got here is coloured tape to show you the different grades.
Okay.
So everything purple here is above 10 grams per tonne, 1/3 of an ounce. Everything pink is above 5 and everything red is above 2 grams. And what really is unique about this deposit is like 10 grams, 10 grams, 10 grams, 10 grams, 10 grams, 10 grams, 2 grams, 5 grams. It's an exceptionally consistent, wide, high-grade ore body. It's one of my favourite things about the deposit. What it means is profitability. You know, there's big parts of this deposit that are probably going to be worth $800 a tonne, and we should be able to mine them and process them for around $100 a tonne. That's profitability. That's what this means to me. Actually, I think there's actual gold in this one. That's pretty cool. This is a bit of drill core that's just the ordinary limestone rock around here.
Yeah.
You can see it's rock, it's slightly heavy, but then feel this.
Oh yeah, that's like at least 3, maybe 4 times the weight of that. So that's the gold in here.
That's right, that's the gold and the sulfides that have come in, and actually you can see a really cool piece. You can see if you actually just look here, there's actually a piece of gold. I wasn't expecting to see it so coarse. It's not that common to see. Normally the gold's so fine you can't see it, but it really, really adds a lot of weight to the rock. You can really pick the difference. You don't even need to assay it. You can just go like this, Jamie, and work out whether it's a gold mine.
There you go. So shiny, good, heavy, good. Anything else geologists need to be thinking about?
I think you got it, mate. You qualified.
What's that? You can see it. Was this road put in for the mine?
No, the road was here, but it's been significantly improved, and the power lines come across. It's kind of one of the cool benefits of this building a mine. You get this infrastructure in the local areas.
Did you put the power lines in for the mine?
Correct. The operator before us did that. They come straight into the mine. Other people use them, but they were principally bought here for Ana Paula.
There are only 2 ways to build an underground mine. To get down to the deposit, you either need to sink a shaft, much like an elevator that goes straight down, or you need to drive a decline, which is effectively a ramp that loops down. And right now, today, I'm standing at the portal, which is the entrance to the Ana Paula project's decline. Now, what's amazing about Heliostar's acquisition of Ana Paula is they bought this entire project for $10 million. This decline, which is only about 1/3 of the way done, has had $4 million spent on it to date. The last owner and operator sunk about 1/3 of this before they ran out of cash and had to put the project on hold. So for the price of $10 million, the Heliostar team got this decline, they've got a fully complete camp, they've got millions and millions of dollars of historic drilling. It really goes to show you that for savvy operators, savvy investors, there is always an opportunity to buy projects for a fraction of their value and a fraction of the money that has been spent on them. So we're in the half-finished decline that you guys effectively got for free in the purchase price here. But, you know, a half-finished decline isn't particularly useful in of itself. What has to happen here for this to actually become a functioning mine?
Yeah, so we've completely changed the plan from the previous open pit that had the $100 million spent on it that's permitted to underground. We think it costs less and it makes more money. So right now we're completing a feasibility study, which is a fancy way of saying we're doing all the work required to go and borrow the money to build the mine. Once we do that, we're going to complete this decline. It's about 1/3, half of the way down, continue that down, enter the ore body, build a plant site out this side, and start producing gold. So we think we'll have the feasibility study done by the middle of next year. We'll modify the permits because you change from an open pit style to underground. And then it's about 18 months to the construction time. We think by the beginning of 2028, we can be producing gold at Ana Paula. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing this built, to seeing the ore trucks coming out of here, and to produce our first gold here.
All right, let's go see the deposit.
A tremendous amount of work has been done at Ana Paula, but there is still a lot to do. To really understand this, I like to see a project from above, to get my bearings and to really wrap my head around the scale of what needs to be done here.
So we're standing on top of Ana Paula right here. When I look off into the distance, I can't help but notice a giant gold mine sitting out there. What am I looking at here?
There's actually two large gold mines. Closest to us is Torex's Morelos complex. For the last couple of years, that's been the 10th biggest gold mine in the world, and Los Filos behind it.
Torex is the 10th biggest producer in the world?
Yeah.
I did not know that at all, because they're, about a $2.5 billion company right now?
Correct, producing nearly 500,000 ounces of gold a year.
So what's the implication for an Ana Paula, right? Because when I look at that, I can think of it two ways. It's just, you're on an incredible gold trend here. This is elephant country. This could be huge. The other way to look at it is only the big gold mines can get built or survive here. What do you think that this means for you guys?
I think there's a couple of aspects as you touch on. The first is now that they've spent nearly $1 billion just building a new underground mine here, everything that we're proposing to do right here, like literally just here, is being done in the valley. Same deposit type, same community, same mining methods. There's proof of everything that we want to do can be done here. And the second is that potential that this could be much bigger. We have a resource that's open to depth. We have a geological reason to believe that we're more shallow than these two mines, and there might be more gold deeper, so it's possible that we don't just have a profitable mine, that we have a big mine as well. So they're clearly big deposits, and clearly you can build mines here where Ana Paula is. It's quite incredible how small of a footprint contains how much gold. It seems easy when you look at these big mines, but finding them is actually really hard when you look at how many hills and how many trees are around here. I think if you look throughout history, successful gold mining has been the person who had the claim that made the money, bought their neighbours, expanded. The real big companies in the world through history have grown through cash flow. The idea that you build the biggest thing in the world with the biggest amount of debt, I think is a fraught with risk approach. And hopefully I think that's what we're seeing in our share price, is a reward of a company that's trying to move quickly, be nimble, that's not got a huge debt burden.
Let's actually talk about debt, because you guys don't have any debt. Right?
Correct. We borrowed $5 million to buy the Argonaut assets, and we paid that back in 4 months, which was a lovely thing to do.
And where's that cash flow primarily coming from now? Which project?
So our two operating mines in Sonora and Durango that we're going to visit, La Colorada and San Agustin. So our aim is we think we can make enough money from those mines to build Ana Paula. That's our aim. That's what I think is our unique value proposition, is instead of diluting half or 3/4 of the company to build this deposit here, we think we might be able to build it with very little to no equity dilution, which means our share price should go up.
So ideally, when does the first bar of gold get poured here?
Beginning of 2028.
2028.
That's quick.
That is quick.
So here's a map showing all the very highest grade gold in the deposit. Ana Paula is such a wide high grade deposit. That's what we think makes it special. So you've got this big sea of low grade and this spectacular high grade core that we call the high grade panel. It's only about 300 meters long, 100 meters tall, but it's 60 meters wide, going about 5.5 grams per ton gold. That's a very wide, high-grade deposit. But when you put it in space, it's an incredibly small footprint to have 1 million ounces of gold.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you come up with that slogan?
When we transitioned to production, we used to have the business of exploration.
Yeah.
And then when we went to production, we needed to change it, and it speaks to what matters. Move quickly. Do things in a speed that people don't expect, and you'll make more money. Grade is margin. No, only pick things that make a huge amount of profit for the amount of effort. It's the only way to be profitable. And then growth is what we want to do. We want to be a much bigger company. So if you want to know what truly motivates Heliostar, move quickly, make a lot of money, and grow a bigger business.
It's funny because that basically perfectly encapsulates what it takes for a mining stock to make money.
Absolutely, like it's the secret.
It's been a good day, and Heliostar clearly has big plans and grand ambitions for the Ana Paula project. But ambition doesn't pay the bills. With that, it's early to bed, and an even earlier flight to Durango. I need to better understand if Heliostar can self-fund the development of Ana Paula. But to do that, I need to see how they manage an actually cash-flowing operation. I need to get on the ground at St. Augustine, Heliostar's money printing machine.